Hello everyone, see you again at the Teaching English for Young Learners 2. On this occasion, I will to present Assessing Young Language Learners. Well, from the first time, I will to confide that there are several forms as assessment including first, assessing pronunciation, a second, assessing vocabulary, and the third, assessing grammar. Well, I will explain one by one. That the first is assessing pronunciation. Actually, how do we assess the pronunciation of the young learners? There are several things that the teacher can do, including one, they need the fourth teacher as assessor to pay attention to articulation of word and learner strangers in these courses, where word can be changed when used in a sentence. For example, in the sentence, please sit down. In the word please and sit down to join because the sound of the end of the word please become a sound. S is followed by S is heard in sittings. Then the second thing to pay attention to it. Intonation, rhythm, and then the sentence stress. These factors are the main criteria for the assessment because this factor will change when combined to convey meaning in the reading. This usually makes it difficult for children to understand. And the third is truth about formative assessment and external assessment. Formative assessment is influenced by the first language, where pronunciation error are the caused by the first language affecting pronunciation in the target language. Well, external assessment as the main criteria for the assessment is clarity. And the next is assessing vocabulary. Now, how to assess a vocabulary? There are several criteria from the teacher that can be done, including one, oral language use, and third, literature text. That first vocabulary developed occur is a spoken language and the beginning of the learning which will later be transferred to literacy. Where this vocabulary knowledge is obtained from reading and the assessment through writing. And then two, vocabulary assessment can also be done to the extent to which children are able to understand and master vocabulary to be used in various purpose. And then next three, the assessment can also down to student ability to master a lot of vocabulary and phrase to achieve the meaning they want. Such as students who have able to edit their written work. And then the fourth assessment can be done by measuring student ability to communicate well, like the covering grammatical, textual, and then sociolinguistic as a form of increasing vocabulary. There are several things we need to know that holistic assessment can be used to assess vocabulary that is show through the quality of the overall student perform. Well, analytical assessment is focused on the context of the use of the text language. And then how to teach vocabulary to young learners. Yes, in this classroom, the teacher can access vocabulary contently and informally during the teaching and learning process. And one, teacher can use a flashcard and a picture to teach and check understanding. And then the second, Then third is picture storybook. This makes the children more interesting. It can also be third. A vocabulary game like findings, direction one, picking a word card from the pile, read them and look for the match. They can help the children to get a reading vocabulary and also help the teacher to check vocabulary. And then the teacher can using about vocabulary brainstorming on the topic. And then picture close like fill in the word in the story, and then the picture of the item is the given. Word matching text. Yes, this is like draw a line between the word with a similar meaning in the list, and maybe the teacher and using picture labeling. Yes, labeling that the part of the body in this picture that is can using about it. Multiple choice question, like we can using it like choose the word that match best the understanding word in the text. And then next the assessment into assessing grammar. Furthermore, assessing grammar, several theories supporting grammar, including theoretical Bergman and Palmer. This is understanding about grammatical knowledge, including knowledge of the vocabulary like the syntax and the phonological or geography. And then according to Purpura, grammar knowledge involves when examiners understand for produce grammatical correct and contextual meaning utterance. And then next, according to Lemma, the grammatical characteristics to be assessed are one of few feature will be assessed in the spoken language assessment. And then according to Holiday, says that theoretical framework from grammatical side as the functional grammar. And then how to assess grammar in the young learners? Evaluation grammar for young learners begin in spoken language and progress in even that focus more on writing assessment only as children's language skill. Yes, that's one. A young learner's grammar can be assessed in oral language observation involving analysis of the children's oral language as they engage in meaningful language use activity. Observation checklist when a change third a needs analyzed help teacher and assessors to check state grammar. It's required for the children successful adjustment in the stacks. And then as young learners progress is their language ability. And it is their cognitive maturity, observation, and analyzing can look more closely at their knowledge of grammatical form at the sentence level and discourse level. And then a sentence level stress and intonation use inflectional affects. That's next a classroom assessment or oral language. Assessment of spoken or oral language can be divided into okay, I will be brief and explain once by once. That's one. Observation is the central tools for assessment of oral language in the classroom. Oral language is used in the classroom management. For example, when the teacher tells students to tell down. And then the second, oral record in portfolio. Oral record in portfolio can be collected by teacher as a means of the closer analysis of performance and recorder of progress. The topic recording of the children speaking in a different text, for example, an interview with the teacher describing something given instruction, narrative, story. That is for example it. And then the third assignment during teacher-student interaction. Teacher-student interaction and a text of hat. For example, in the reading and writing conference, in excursion as they focus together on a shared internet. Interest provide opportunities of the close analysis of a giant or link. And then for self-assessment. Self-assessment strengthens for help children to monitor their progress. They might, for example, take a list of each item of what they can do. Observation. Yes, observation of other language can take a place in the first activity, like a listening and the following instruction. The third is answering questions on the text, both a literal and interpretive. And then fourth, ability to describe and explain what they are doing. And the fifth, answering questions on the text and listening to instruction. And the shape, answering questions about this character. And then next, type of the oral language assessment text for young learners. There are 6 types of the text that only improve talking or language text such as this. This may be integrated into classroom teaching tasks. May be used more formal summative purpose may be used in external text. Each text requires refinement to suit the purpose of the assessment, the content as assessment and learning characteristic. First, news telling. This text assesses children's ability to do this in a way that convey information to the audience with adequate detail in appropriate sequence. The ability of the children in the audience to listen characteristic for detail and to generate question can be assessed. And then 2, storytelling. Children's ability to tell a story can be assessed with the use of illustration, cut away and limited into book. And then the third, we are using about the picture talk. Children can be scared to describe a picture. They can be given 1 or 2 minutes to look at the picture before they describe it. And the next, categorization type. A categorical text involves the children sorting and finding pattern. Categories text can be assessed children with descriptive language and the language of conversation, as well as abstract explanation and academic talk and content. And then oral presentation. Yes, oral presentation are also extended speaking texts. Children may be talking about their own experience without preparation, or they may be delivering a report on a project that has been prepared over a number of weeks. And the last, others speaking only general. Depending on their age and the level of proficiency, children may be asked to do following in a speaking-only situation. Argue to side of an issue, debate like this. describing a significant event like anecdote, and then tell someone how to do something like procedure, and describing a person or place description. Okay, so many tips from me helpfully useful, and thank you. Bye bye.